Well, we're back again and glad to be back with you and sharing more in depth information about the book Stealing Fire.
Yeah, we spoke last week about this book because we loved seeing the parallels between what they were bringing out, how science and industry and government, military are really exploring how can we develop this inner potential that people have instead of just trying to get us to hack life a little better, try and improve on what we've already got, make a better mousetrap. And also, the book talks about how forever, really, there's been a movement on developing consciousness, expanding our inner potential through meditation, mindfulness, a lot of different spiritual techniques and practices.
And we spent 30 years on the spiritual search of trying to find that place of greater capacity within.
Yeah, so maybe that's why we're attracted to it.
Could be.
Yeah, we've had a strong desire to, we've kind of always known there's this inner potential and how do you tap it. And so, like 7 years ago or so, we came across this understanding that we've been sharing and coaching people with, and it's been making a big difference in terms of people's ability to tap that inner potential, to be able to find that space of inner wisdom when they're in the midst of what used to throw them off track. And of course, many of our clients come to us around food and health. So we see the link between helping people really stay present and grounded in their capacity and their wisdom when things come up in life that create pressure and tension that in the past they had developed a habit of reaching for food to deal with.
Or they just were eating in a way that didn't really heal the body and they have a condition that needs attention.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole point seems to be that when we're in this expanded state, we're immersed in the presence. We're immersed in the present moment. That's kind of the book's point, is how do you help people really get into this present moment where we're not caught in the past or projecting into the future. And they found four qualities that seem to always be there. If an athlete is in the zone, or if a combat team has flipped the switch and they're in this kind of coherence with each other, if there's a group of computer engineers that are all kind of in that space of thinking outside the box and being very innovative. There are kind of four qualities that seem to always be present, and that's there's an acronym called Ster, S-T-E-R, for selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness. And they sound kind of abstract and esoteric, but what we've seen is that they aren't really, because of course, if this is our capacity, we must experience it naturally. And that's what we find, is that when we help people to get present with a situation so that they're not reaching for food, they have these qualities, but we don't talk about it a lot. But I thought in this blog we would just kind of quickly touch on it, because we want to take this kind of mystical and seemingly like, oh, the monks in Tibet can get there, or there's certain people that can get there, but not for me. But we see that this is actually the human potential. Everybody has this capacity. So how can we help people see they have that capacity? And one way is just to understand that, like, these four qualities that are always present when somebody's in the zone, we actually touch on quite regularly and normally. Like the experience of selflessness. We were talking to our Saturday group, our graduate community, the other day about this, and how actually, whenever we see a young child who needs some help with something, maybe we're walking down the street and there's a young child who needs help with something, we don't think twice. We just go, oh, here, let me help you with that. It's a completely selfless expression. And in order to do that, we had to get present. We stayed present while we were doing it, and then we went on about our ways. That is that selfless quality that is inherent in being present and coming into that space of flow, or what they call in the book ecstasies. The next quality they talk about in the acronym anyway is timelessness. And it's like timelessness. Well, that's a big topic. What does that mean? I mean, how can I live without time? If I agree to eat lunch with somebody at noon, I got to live with time. So it's true, we live in a world of time, but this experience of being in the present is a time that is an experience, I should say, that's really free of time. Because if you think about it, if you're immersed in the present moment, where's the past? Where's the future? I mean, the present moment is a timeless moment. And we've all had that experience. I know sometimes I'll go out into the shop, I love woodworking, and I get out there and I'm just doing my thing, not paying a lot of attention, being very present. And I look up and it's like, oh, where did those 2 hours go? When I'm really present, time flies. Time flies when you're having fun, right? You get really present, we experience this quality of timelessness. And then effortlessness, it's the same thing. We all experience that quite naturally. You ever have that experience where you just kind of, oh, see something that needs to be done and you just do it? There's no figuring out how to do it. What am I going to do? What if I do this? What if I do that? It's just like, oh, see it, do it. See the job, do the job. Completely effortless. Doesn't mean there's no energy involved in doing it, but there's no effort in terms of figuring out what to do in the present moment. When we're really in the zone, we don't think about what to do. We see what to do and respond. And that too, I think we all experience from time to time. As simple as it happened this morning. I just got back from a short, kind of quick road trip, and there was a lot of stuff to unpack. Got home late, so I didn't unpack it all last night. So as I'm going through the morning, it's like, okay, in my mind, I got my agenda, to-do list, and I'm just going through it. And as I'm moving through that list, I say, oh, this needs to be done. I hadn't thought of it. It wasn't on the list, but it's like, well, this needs to be done. So pick up the watering can and water the plants out front that needed water. Completely effortless. It just was see the job, do the job, and it's done. I mean, that's a day-to-day experience, isn't it? But if we look at it, can you see how when that's occurring, you're completely present? There's no past, there's no future, there's no, oh, this is about me, I got to get this to be happy. Completely effortless. And the richness that is experienced when these qualities are present in our awareness as we're going through life is there. So stirred. So on the one hand, it seems like this is a very kind of esoteric, abstract concept that, some people are going to get. We don't think it is so abstract. No. We think it's really possible, and we see that with our clients. Now, in the midst of really some stressful situations, they just have to see something a little bit more differently, and they're out of their heads. And what all this is going to mean and what's creating all this stress, they're out of their heads. They're in the present moment, and where'd the problem go? Oh, this isn't a problem anymore. It's fascinating.
Yeah, or they see a new solution from that rested, quiet place within. Yeah. And issue resolved.
Issue resolved. So again, the reason we bring it up again this week in terms of being able to tap into this inner potential that we all have and its relationship with our health, and particularly a healthy relationship with food, is something that we've shared with our clients for a long time. It's like when you get present with what you're eating, there aren't any cravings. The old habits aren't there anymore because in the present moment, in that moment of selflessness, timelessness, and effortlessness, it's just what to eat, how to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, all that's just clear. So that's a real key in creating a healthy relationship with food, is this capacity to become present, to see what is really going to provide my body with what it needs to thrive. And with that, we start dropping weight. We find that our bodies are restoring the health, so we aren't needing the meds. It's a lovely thing.
Yeah, the body's designed to heal if we just give it a chance. It will. That's what it does.
Well, I guess there's one caveat to this, to say that just becoming present doesn't always provide us kind of the instant knowledge of what to eat. What is also helpful then is to understand kind of what foods this body thrives best with. We don't just leave our mind behind and rely on kind of the wisdom of the moment. We can still use our minds to do research and find out, what does science know? What does history show us? What are the blue zones where the people live more typically over 100 years old? What are they doing? It doesn't hurt to have these facts and information to draw on. But ultimately, we don't want to rely on information to design a program that we just adhere to in kind of a rigid and automatic way, because our needs are always changing. So it's good to have all the information back there in terms of how does body thrive, but in any moment, to know what part of that information to draw on is the real key, so that we're being responsive to what our bodies need in that moment.
And that comes from what is our true capacity and is always present, is getting present by relaxing the mind and checking in, letting our wisdom, our body's intelligence guide our next. So,
yeah, that's it.
Ready for the recipe?
So
I was watching Chef AJ on YouTube, and she made a roasted sweet potato enchilada. And I loved it, tried it right away, and loved eating it. So I'm going to send you that recipe, and I really encourage you to try it. There are no beans or lentils in it, which is unusual for many enchiladas, but it's really good. So enjoy.
There we go. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.